leadership summit in Iowa was something of an interesting scenario. It created more of an environment where a lot of these so-called conservative candidates, Jacob and David, they're just simply repeating the same line that even the Biden administration repeats in terms of how they're going to get these things done, how they're going to move forward, and including one of the candidates is going to be Mike Pence. And boy, did he commit some kind of political suicide. We can just talk about that for a moment. He says American cities are not his concern. He's not as concerned of the persecution of Christians or religious minorities in Ukraine, or religious majority in Ukraine. He says that there's none, which is it's proven false, that there is persecution from the Zelensky administration there. But it just seems like leader after leader, no matter who they were, they almost repeated the same line. Keep feeding Ukraine more money and more weapons. We're going to secure the border. They're just talking points. There's really no, almost platitudes. There's really no indication of how they would do it. But for Pence to say that American cities are not his concern, even though you see the destruction of American cities, we'll talk about that in a moment, it's just laughable. Jacob, did he just commit political suicide? Is he going to get one vote this time around?
By having said that, any conservative who was thinking of voting for him or is not going to. And in fact, even many rhinos, having heard that, are going to be disturbed by it. Now, Pence was a rhino. He was not a conservative. He was an establishment Republican. I've never believed. I at one time thought he could have been a conservative, but he wasn't. He was a rhino, and he's proved that. But his political opposition, even within his own party, are going to replay this and replay this and replay this as often as is necessary. There is no way he will be viable in running for the nomination. Absolutely no way.
He says he supports military intervention. At the same time, prioritizing, he says, religious freedom and the sanctity of life. Talking points, platitudes, but no real plans. And he says, look, the American cities, I think Tucker Carlson had a good question. Look, American cities are being destroyed. They're worse off now than they've ever been.
And his response was outrageous.